Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Headline: The ICU Promise That Didn't Shatter Kelly/Ripa and Mark Consuelos. It transformed them. You might have seen the clickbait headlines screaming about last wishes and shattered hearts. Ignore the noise, because the real story of what happened when Mark Consuelos faced a terrifying health crisis isn't about an ending. It's about a love story that was tested, strained, and ultimately reforged in the quiet, beeping stillness of a hospital room. This isn't a tabloid tragedy. It's a profoundly human lesson in vulnerability, resilience, and the promises that hold us together. Part 1. The Tapestry They Built. To understand the earthquake, you have to appreciate the city it shook. For over 25 years, Kelly/Ripa and Mark Consuelos haven't just been a celebrity couple, they've been a masterclass in real partnership. Think of their origin story, not a glamorous gala, but the unscripted, high-pressure set of All My Children. He was the new guy, Miguel; she was the established star, Haley. The spark was instant, a classic case of life deciding to be more interesting than fiction. Mark has said he knew he'd marry her the moment he saw her. For Kelly, it was a slower, undeniable pull toward the guy with the quiet confidence and a mischievous smile. They eloped in Vegas in 1996. That decision set their tone: private, fiercely independent, you and me against the world. They built a family with their 3 kids, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, the absolute core of their universe. They built parallel careers, cheering each other on from the sidelines. On her talk show, they gave us a window into a real marriage, bickering like old pros, flirting like teenagers, and supporting each other with a tangible, grounded loyalty. Their fabric was strong, woven with threads of laughter, hard work, mutual respect, and a private language built over decades of shared glances and inside jokes. It was a vibrant, sturdy tapestry they assumed would simply continue, as we all do, until the unthinkable quietly walked in. Part 2. The Unthinkable Moment. It didn't start with an ambulance siren. It started with a cough Mark blamed on the weather, a fatigue he, a supremely fit man, chalked up to a busy schedule. Kelly, with her hyper-observant nature, noticed the subtle changes, the slight pallor, the extra breath needed after stares. "Are you sure you're okay?" she'd ask, her hand on his forehead. "I'm fine, honey, just tired," he'd say, pulling her in to ease her worry. But fine has an expiration date. The cough became a racking sound from the next room. The fatigue turned leaden. Then came the fever and the shortness of breath that turned a simple sentence into a climb. The crisis arrived not with a dramatic fall, but in the quiet terror of their bedroom. Mark, leaning against the wall, chest heaving, skin clammy, finally admitted, "Kelly, I can't breathe." What follows is a blur we all fear. The flashing lights, the sterile chaos of the ER, the moment you're left holding nothing but your partner's jacket in a waiting room chair. Time stops and races at once. The diagnosis, a severe bilateral pneumonia, was a name for the terror. His oxygen levels were critically low. ICU, immediately. The ICU is a different planet, a humming, beeping landscape where life is measured on monitors. When Kelly finally saw him, the sight was a physical blow. Her strong, vibrant husband was small in the bed, tethered by tubes and wires. A ventilator did the breathing his lungs could not. Its rhythmic hiss, click, was the soundtrack of her nightmare. But then his eyes fluttered open, found hers, and in them, clouded with fever and drugs, was the same love. That thread, however fragile, was still there. It became her anchor. Part 3. The Vigil and the Unspoken Fear. Kelly's world shrank to the 4 walls of that room. She became a translator of monitor beeps, a steady voice reading his favorite books, a hand always on his. She was a pillar of strength for him, for their kids, for everyone watching. But in the silent, lonely moments, in the hospital lounge at 3 a.m., in the stiff chair by his bed, the fear descended. It was a cold, heavy thing. The what-ifs she'd spent a lifetime batting away now swarmed. What if he doesn't recover? What does a world without his laughter, his steady presence, even look like? The thought of being half of a whole, forever severed, was a void so dark she could only glance at its edges. It was during this fragile stability that Mark, weak but determined, gestured for the small whiteboard. His hand was shaky. He wiped it clean and wrote the words that would change everything. "I need to talk about the what if." Kelly's heart stopped. This was the conversation they'd always avoided. The practical plans were in place, but the emotional roadmap for loss? Uncharted, terrifying territory. Over the next few days, in fragments between rest and procedures, he used that board to outline his wishes. It wasn't a morbid checklist. It was a series of heartfelt, profoundly Mark directives. Tell Michael to be the rock for his sisters, but he has to let himself grieve too. Tell Lola her passion is her superpower, never let her lose it. Tell Joaquin his humor will save him, tell him to use it. Then he erased the board. He struggled, started again. Finally, he wrote the words that truly undid her, the wish the clickbait headlines reduced to a shattering soundbite. "Your laugh is my favorite sound. After I'm gone, I don't want it to go quiet. I need to know you will find joy again. You have to promise me you will live, really live, not just exist for the kids. Fall in love again, be happy. It's not a betrayal, it's my last wish for you." Kelly read it, and the dam holding back weeks of terror and strength broke. She shook her head, tears streaming. "No, no, Mark, don't ask me that. I can't. There is no after you for me. You are it for me." But he was insistent. He pointed firmly at "promise me." This was the crucial moment. This wasn't a wish of surrender. It was the ultimate, staggering act of selfless love. In his hardest fight, his central concern was her future joy. He wasn't gov on life. He was trying to secure hers. He was giving her permission, no, imploring her to choose life and love, even if it couldn't be with him. Part 4. Reforged, not broken. This was the shattering the headlines promised, but it wasn't a person that shattered, it was a paradigm. It shattered Kelly's idea of ultimate loyalty, and Mark was patiently, lovingly redefining it. To him, the ultimate act of love wasn't eternal mourning, it was a testament to the incredible joy they had built together, a joy he wanted her to find again. That heartbreaking, beautiful promise in the shadow of the ICU didn't end their story. It gave their happily ever after a weight, a depth, and a preciousness they now carry with them every single day. It's the quiet truth behind the flashy headlines. Sometimes the deepest love isn't just about holding on, it's about having the courage to let go, even when it breaks your heart, to ensure the other person never stops living.